Dude, welcome back to Hanging Out with the Dudes with the Dudes in Sports podcast. I'm your host, PC, and it's going to be a great day today. As of course, we are missing a few dudes here today, unfortunately. Mr. Howard, sir, could not keep up with us today, and Mr. K-Stel actually bailed here last second due to some other obligations. No worries, though. Me and P4 are here to give you an insight on everything, but of course, let's go introduce the main man from way out west, Mr. P4, sir. How are we doing today?
Great day. A little rainy today. However, we're having a good day. We watched Mets baseball this morning. The Mets, I think they lost today. Let's get a double check on that. MLB. Yep, Mets lost 5-4. Then we had a good UFC fight last night, and yeah, we're just hanging out.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited for this. You know, two guys that are going to be a little bit difficult here, but we're going to do the best we can here, and I think we're going to move right into our first segment today, which we are going to be talking about the NBA Finals, okay? We have our two teams now officially as the Boston Celtics, number one team out of the Eastern Conference. They are going to be taking on the number 5 seed of the Dallas Mavericks. And I'll just go through this a little bit of their roads to the NBA Finals. First, if we look at the Boston Celtics, okay, number one team coming out of the East, very, very great, very solid team. They had to play the Miami Heat first, who actually last year gave them a lot of trouble. Ended up eliminating them in the first round. Huge upset. You know, they made it all the way to the finals. However, the Heat did not have their guy, Jimmy Butler, also known as Himmy Buckets, to us on the blog over there, was actually not playing in that series. So Boston was able to go up 5 games, easy run there to the next round. Then they versed the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are a good team, have some young talent. They have obviously the Spider there and Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland's very good with Evan Mobley as well. However, again, a key guy gets hurt in Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell also gets hurt in that series. Boston's able to walk right through into the Eastern Conference Finals without much harm done to them. And then finally, you think we're going to get them against Milwaukee. You think P4 and I picked them to actually lose to the Knicks early on this year. We thought we were going to get one of those guys in the finals, but we end up finding the young and hungry Indiana Pacers team coming out with Tyrese Halliburton, who is playing phenomenal, Pascal Siakam, who they picked up, but again, riddled with injuries. The Boston Celtics were able to actually sweep the Indiana Pacers, and actually a pretty good series, but it has not seemed like they've had a very tough time this road getting to the NBA Finals. P4, sir, do you think that this could harm their chances of winning because they didn't have a hard route to get to the NBA Finals, or is it going to help them to get more rest?
I think the rest always helps, especially with Al Horford and them being the more what's the word? Veteran team,
Yeah.
I guess. Veteran team. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough matchup, but in that scenario, I don't know how much it's going to help. I think it helps them a little bit, though.
Yeah, I tend to agree a little bit. I think they have proven themselves yet again in the regular season, being the number 1 overall team. Only losing 18 games this year. So I think they've proven themselves. JT obviously Jason Tatum needs to step up a little bit. Jaylen Brown's been playing excellent. We're going to see what happens with Porzingis. We have not seen him yet in the playoffs. They're thinking he may be back around game 3 or 4 of the NBA Finals, just with that calf injury that's been really bugging him in the playoffs. So he could be a serious X factor for those Boston Celtics. Do not forget about the bald man Derek White coming off the bench. And old man Al Horford, as the main man from way out west mentioned, could be a huge factor. Now, let's talk about their opponent. Is going to be, no, not the OKC Thunder, not the reigning defending champs of the Denver Nuggets, not your Minnesota Timberwolves and Ant-Man, not KD, not the Clippers with Paul George and Russell Westbrook and James Harden. It is Luka Magic and Kyrie Irving coming out of the loaded Western Conference. Let's look back real quick on how they got there. So first they had to play the LA Clippers. Okay, huge game, right? Lots of big names on that team, and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Russell Westbrook. but it's a really hard-fought series. They were able to pull that one out in 6. Then they go and face the young and hungry OKC Thunder team that was the number 1 overall seed out west. Now, the OKC team was a little bit inexperienced, and you can tell that as the Dallas Mavericks were able to beat them in 6 games as well. Finally, they faced the Minnesota Timberwolves in the NBA Finals, and everybody's thinking, oh, Ant's going to beat everybody. They're looking, Minnesota just beat Denver in 7 games. They swept my Phoenix Suns back here in 4. The series before, Ant was looking incredible. And then what happens is Luka tells them to get out of here. Kyrie Irving dicing it up all over the court, and they end up getting out of the West in 5 games, which is huge, especially they went up 3-0 on the Minnesota Timberwolves, which was just crazy. So we see the Dallas Mavericks, and now we see the Boston Celtics. Key guys for the Mavericks, if you're really wondering, Luka, obviously the number 1 guy there. He's trying to be the captain, the facilitator for this team. Obviously, Kyrie Irving is this, Robin to his Batman. He is playing really well, extreme. Also, you also have P.J. Washington, who is a free agency pickup from the Charlotte Hornets, and they are doing a phenomenal job there. Then you have the Derek Jones Jr. as well, who's also been playing well. And then you also have the Duke man, Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford splitting minutes right down the middle to be able to give you that energy boost that is going to be able to be a huge factor. So, we've done a little bit of a breakdown. So, we've got, obviously, Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis maybe hopefully healthy, Al Horford, Derek White versus Dallas Mavericks, who have Luka, Kyrie, that have P.J. Washington that can really step up. Derek Lively's been really, really energetic as a big man. Mr. P4, sir, if you could give me a prediction today, this series starts Thursday, who do you have winning the series and in how many games?
Dallas in 6.
Yeah, Dallas got a really tough road. Do you have any insights on why you think that? Why is Luka, anybody going to do anything? Kyrie?
It has to be the road that got them there. Coming through the West, most of our last couple champions have been from the West. Boston hasn't proved to get over that hump yet, that championship hump, with all their opportunities. So until I see that, I'm going to go with the West team.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The road thing, I think, actually does help out them a little bit. Also, Boston, again, that hump that you were talking about has been huge. They've made it to, I think it's 5 consecutive Eastern Conference Finals, and they've made it to this is their 3rd NBA Finals run, and they still have not been able to get over that hump. JT has kind of been looked at as like kind of a good, good number 1, but maybe a guy that's not going to be able to push you to an NBA Finals championship. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting. My prediction, I'm going to go the opposite, just so we have a little bit of a competition here. I'm going to go Boston in 7, I think. I think JT gets it done. Jaylen, I think Derek White comes off as the X factor. Then if Porzingis can stay healthy, if he's able to spread the floor a little bit, and Derek Lively and Daniel have to come and try and guard him on the outside of the perimeter, it opens up lanes for the Celtics. And then eventually those lanes turn into kick-out threes to Al Horford. So I think it's going to be a phenomenal matchup. I'm really just hoping for a great NBA Finals. Hopefully all 7 games are going to be phenomenal. Real quick, I did want to check in, and this is for P4 and I. It might not be the greatest thing to look at, but I am going to look at our ESPN challenge here. And as we did this earlier this year, it was a little bit of Mr. Howard and K-Stout definitely kicked our butts this year. P4 and I picked the Knicks to move on. Unfortunately, here's the side that I did currently. The Thunder, we had the Knicks. Yeah, just nothing really worked out for us. The East here, just overall, that's why we're not professionals around here. We can't figure things out sometimes. So congratulations to Howard and K-Stout for winning our little bracket thing. Next year we'll do some more stuff. We'll do some bracket stuff when MLB playoffs come around. But other than that, I'm just really excited and ready for this finals. One more question, P4. If you had to pick somebody to win NBA Finals MVP, who are you picking?
If it is Dallas, it's probably either going to be Luca or Kyrie. Um, I think Luca's going to have a really good series. I think Kyrie is going to have to really show up in some big time clutch moments, hit some of those incredible shots that we've seen him hit over his career in the playoffs in these big moments. So I could see him winning the MVP, even though Luca's kind of the main guy there. But it'll be between those two. If it goes to Boston, I think it has to be Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree. The only other person I could maybe see from Boston getting it would be Jalen Brown, just
I don't know.
because, I mean, he did just win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but I do also agree with you. I think if Boston's going to win, JT's going to have to play, like, pretty much out of his mind. Like, it's going to be a great series, and whoever can play best is going to end up winning it in the very end. But I totally agree with you on that. I think it'll be one of those two guys. So, speaking, we've done a little bit of a hoop action here. Now we're going to go to the Octagon as we had UFC 302 this past weekend. Mr. P4, sir, what was your favorite fight of the night, and what was your reactions to the main card?
As far as favorite fight of the night, the Roman Kopilov fight was very good. That was the first fight on the main card. Roman Kopilov ended up beating Cesar Almeida by split decision. Interesting split decision. The scorecards looked a little weird kind of all night. That was kind of the consensus. I didn't think anything was maybe a couple unanimous that should have been split that should have been unanimous, but I don't think anyone was robbed of really anything. Another good fight, if we're kind of going in order here. Nico Price, he had a whole bunch of takedowns. He looked really good, especially kind of being the gimmick fighter that he is. He might be able to make some noise now after he's starting to put some wins together. Kevin Holland's armbar was so
That
crazy.
was crazy. It's so nuts how, like, it was in tight.
Yeah, this Michael Olawujacek guy, he was going down in weight. Kevin was going up to middleweight. He's wanted some fights in middleweight. And he's fighting a bigger guy here. Kevin did get smoked. That karate style didn't really work against this Polish dude. They were talking about him. This Polish guy grew up in a town with less than 200 people in it.
Really?
So he's probably just a fucking maniac.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't even think, like...
How can you
I don't know
even
what
be
he
any type of normal human being from a 200 people town?
And then just fighting
Yeah, and
people.
you're just
so
going
Kevin went out
across
there.
the world.
Kevin's out there. He's kind of fucking around. He threw some karate kicks and stuff. And this guy was just walking him down the whole time. He then did get a little overzealous on the ground and pound. Left the arm out there. Kevin was able to take advantage of that. Flipped him over. Got the arm bar in. And there was something interesting going on. I don't know if the guy said that my arm is broke, but I can still fight. Or my arm isn't broken. Or there was some sort of... But whoever, I think Herb was the referee for that. He stepped in at the perfect time. That was, I mean, any more, it could have got real bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing maybe a bone come out at that point. It was tight. Yeah.
Not much you can do there.
Yeah.
Then we move on to co-main event. Sean Strickland defeats Paulo Costa by split decision.
Yeah, that was
interesting.
Yeah.
49-46 for Costa is what one judge went. So that means that they only had Sean Strickland winning the 5th round. Where in the other judges' scorecards, they do go the opposite, in 49-46 for Strickland, and then 50-45 for Strickland, which has him winning all 5 rounds. Strickland looked really good. Didn't do anything really out of the ordinary for Strickland. Just walked down Costa. I was a little surprised with how Costa reacted to the walk down because it wasn't anything new. I think he should have... I mean, they alluded to it on the broadcast. Cut the angles off more so. He did waste a little bit of time with that, but he needed to be a little more forward going. And he would lose those exchanges, and then, I mean, you see it all the time. The UFC fighter gets cracked, and he does the thing like, come on, do it again, or something like that. It looks good optically, but if you're just going to keep on getting smoked and you're not going to really throw anything back, but you look like you're having fun, then you're not going to win the fight, dog. But Strickland, he wants a title fight. He wants to fight DDP. This, I don't know. The way that they've scheduled these middleweight bouts, and you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There's a lot of guys in like kind of this top five, and we can even probably pull it up. Let's look at the rankings. All right, so let's look at this middleweight division right here. Dricus du Plessis is the current champion, obviously.
Yeah.
He won it from beating Sean Strickland, who just beat, down here, Paulo Costa. Israel Adesanya, I don't know if it's scheduled yet, but is supposed to fight DDP for the belt.
Okay.
Robert Whittaker, he just beat Paulo Costa, so he's still in this conversation. Where you also have Khamzat Chimaev, who's taking on Robert Whittaker pretty soon.
Yeah.
So Strickland can wait for Israel, but if Khamzat really kicks the shit out of Robert Whittaker, then he's going to go to the top of that billing list.
Yeah.
And then where does Strickland go? Does he have to fight Whittaker now? Can he fight Cannonier again? Vittori, he's not really in this conversation right now.
No, Vittori hasn't done anything.
Other guys coming up, obviously, we have middleweight. Come on, where is he? Is he not even ranked? Oh, we have Bo Nickel.
Oh,
Bo Nickel,
yeah.
I don't see him
Bo
ranked
Nickel.
at all, but Bo Nickel's
Nickel.
also a 185er. So how many fights does he have to win by knockout or submission before they start putting his name up there?
Yeah, I think you probably realistically look, what, you think 2 or 3 more maybe before he puts his name in the top 15? With as heavy dense as the middleweight division is, do you think he's got to win 3 to get in, or does he only got to win like 2?
There's no way that it'll be 3 to get in. I'm thinking max 5 before title shot.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
I mean, he has been more active than kind of your Kamaru Usman or your other kind of big name fighters, but I mean, come on, what do you want him to do? Fight another 3 times and then fight Michael Piera?
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Michael
then what?
Pierre's
He beats him and he fights Jack Hermansson. And then how many fights against these guys? Because it's so top heavy. Until, I mean, they're doing the same thing with Strickland right now. You got to go around the ring a little bit.
Right.
I mean, maybe he doesn't fight all of the top 10.
Right.
But he fights probably 2 or 3 of those
At
guys
least,
before he even gets a chance.
Yeah.
And who's to say that these guys stay the same?
Right.
I mean, there's going to be a little bit of bouncing around.
Yeah, I'm really interested
Either way.
to see what Kazmat's going to do, especially against Whittaker, and what they do after that. Do you think they maybe what if he wins? Do you think Strickland fights him? Or do you think
I don't
it's
know.
better?
See, that's kind of
they
the
already
same
fought
thing.
Jared Cannonier, right?
How many times does Khamzat need to fight before it's like, okay, yeah, you're legit? Like, do we want these guys to wait? Like, Sugar, right? He got that Yawn fight. He beat Yawn. Fucking boom, title fight.
Yeah.
Khamzat, here's your Whittaker. Here's your Yawn. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, now you actually have to fight Strickland. Actually, Sean, now we want you to fight Jose Aldo. Okay, well, how many of these guys do I have to fight before you go?
I mean, I totally could see them doing that when he beats Whittaker to be able to jump up to that next level and get that title shot. But also, I could see him doing Whittaker. I love Whittaker to death, but how old is Whittaker? Whittaker's is like what? He's up there now. I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
how
I mean,
old
he did just beat Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
But,
Let's say.
does it say age right here?
I can look it up here.
I mean, other than his fight against DDP.
Yeah.
And DDP, I mean, that was his most astounding win. I'm going to say somewhere between 32
Oh, he's only
and
33. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I thought he was a little bit older than that, but yeah, 33. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if you give it to him, I just thought that, like, do you put Whittaker? You put him in the same as Izzy and Strickland, or is he in a different category? Or are they like if they're at the same level? Like, is DDP the top of the mountain? Does it go Strickland, Adesanya, and then Whittaker? Or is Whittaker on the one below Adesanya and Sean Strickland? How does that work? Because that's how I'm thinking with Kazmat, right? Because if he's not at this level, right, shouldn't he probably have to fight either Whittaker, whoever, either Izzy or Strickland, the guy that's not getting the title fight next, and that's who they have to beat to see who's going to get that championship matchup. So I think that's rather interesting. Because I get the whole Kazma he's doing, phenomenal things, and it's just like that one of those guys that you see, like just like how Khabib was coming up and how Islam was coming up, and you're just like, holy, these guys maul their opponents. It's not like even like it's just they just destroy anything in their path. And so I'm interested on your opinion on if you think Strickland and Adesanya are the same level as Robert Whittaker.
Yes. Would be fun to maybe do a UFC ranking tier list. I do get what you're saying. I don't even know if maybe there is a tier in between those two.
Yeah, true.
Where, because I mean, Izzy was very dominant. He did lose, right? He doesn't have the belt currently, but who's to say that because he lapped this division before that loss.
Yeah.
Including Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vittori, Paulo Costa. Those kind of guys is that last generation where you now have this Strickland, DDP, Hamzat, Bo Nickel, I guess, may be the one after this.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, Usman also can move up. There's a couple guys thinking about moving up.
Yeah, Usman moving up would make even middleweight even scarier. Because I mean, he's still. When was the last fight? Was what, Edwards, right?
No, he lost to Hamzat at 85.
That's right, yeah. I don't know. He's been kind of on a downwards trajectory a little bit here.
Well, I mean, a decision loss in a 3-round fight to Hamzat Chimaev going up.
Yeah, true.
After you lose the belt. Like, yes, he lost to Leon twice. Leon has his number.
Yeah.
But if he fought Colby tomorrow, Colby's getting smoked.
Usman, yeah. Because you see Colby going... I saw this what I thought would be funny. There's no way Colby could go up, could he?
85?
Yeah. Because I think it would be a great, phenomenal matchup if Sean Strickland and Colby Covington could fight against... I think Strickland would dominate,
For the memes, maybe, but
yeah,
no.
That wouldn't...
Here, let's go over this last fight, then we'll talk about UFC coming up, because there is some Colby news. But the last fight, the main event, Islam Makhachev, he continues to be the undefeated, undisputed lightweight champion of the world and the pound-for-pound #1 champion in the world. Even though Dana alluded in his press conference that maybe he's not, maybe Alex Pieta or one of these other guys is. But he defeated Dustin Diamond Poirier, who semi-retired in the octagon.
Yeah.
We'll see, by a Darce choke in the last round. Dustin looked really good. I think that there is now some... I don't know if I want to go to say there's holes in the game of Islam. I was telling my buddy during the fight, I think Islam's ego is bigger than Khabib's. Where Khabib, he doesn't... I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to do what Islam did do during the fight. In the first round, in the fifth round, in the fourth round, he did it. But also in that fourth and fifth round, I think even really the third, too, Dustin was trying to turn it into a boxing match, and he was talking some smack to Islam, and Islam was like, you want to box? We'll box. And he lost some of those exchanges. And we knew this. Islam isn't the boxer that Dustin is. If Dustin had a chance, it would be in those exchanges. But Khabib wouldn't have sunk down to Dustin's level like how Islam did. Islam did do those exchanges. Dustin got out. He had some really good takedown defense. Getting up against the cage is tough. Those Dagestani guys. And then you get in the clinch, and those knees are fucking brutal. Dustin did cut up Islam pretty good with that elbow. There were some other things. The new gloves, the new gold gloves, is the first fight we've seen those in. They're pretty cool. Islam's got fucked up. If you saw at the end of the fight, the UFC that's on the back of it, fell off. So maybe they need to look into that a little bit. But great fight. I don't think it was that surprising. I think Islam by submission was kind of the consensus among everybody. Now we get to see. It's probably going to be... I mean, Arman did get the offer before Dustin.
Yeah.
But Max is still... Max is the other champion in this division.
That is true.
As far as everything else is concerned, there was another title fight in this division at 155, and that was for the BMF, and Max Holloway won it. So I think it's up to those two to figure that out.
Yeah.
Go back to Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier retired in the ring afterwards. He has since been called out by Alexander Volkanovski, which is very interesting. Volk go up to 45, which then turns this whole class into a fucking disaster. Or to 55, sorry.
Yeah.
He's already at 45. But, I mean, you already have Armand Charles, Gaethje, Poirier, Gamrot, Chandler, who's going up to 170. Dariush, maybe not that name, but Fitzayev, Holloway, who's just recently added to this, Moicano, Dan Hooker. I mean, you throw Volk
St.
in
Denis.
this turns into a slaughter.
Bobby Green way down there too. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bobby Green, he has a fight against Paddy Pimblett coming up, which will be interesting. I believe that's going to be at 55. It should be.
I think so too.
Dos Anjos. Here, just really quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Rafael Dos Anjos, who's still doing it. He is one of the craziest ever UFC fight records and opponents who he's gone against. Let's go back to his first UFC fight. This was at UFC something else. But regardless, it's somewhere down here. Lost to Clay Guida.
Clay Guida, jeez. Donald.
Beat Cowboy Cerrone. Lost to Khabib. Beat Benson Henderson. Beat Nate Diaz.
Yes.
Beat Anthony Pettis. Beat Cerrone again. Lost to Eddie Alvarez. Lost to Tony Ferg. Beat Neil Magny. Beat Robbie Lawler. Lost to Covington. Lost to Usman. Beat Kevin Lee. Had a cancel fight with Leon. Cancel fight with Chiesa. Beat Paul Felder. Beat Moicano. Lost to Fitzayev. Beat Barberina. Beat Vincent Luque. And lost to Gamrot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the who's who of the 55 and 70 division
Right.
of the last two generations. So quick shout out to RDA right there. That'll be an interesting division coming up. I think if Dustin leaves that division, I could see him going up to 70. He maybe fights Colby or one of those guys like that if he does decide to go up. Maybe they do something weird. I don't think he wants Connor, but maybe if they want to pull Masvidal or Nate out of retirement, one of those guys with Poirier. But Poirier will be a prize fighter now. He's made enough money. One of the greatest careers, former interim champ, fought for the BMF. Just incredible fighter. And the guy from Louisiana.
Yeah, absolutely. Claps up for
Dustin Poirier.
Diamond, baby. Celebrate like a diamond.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so that's kind of my UFC news. We can look forward at some of the other cards that have been announced or whatever we want to do.
Yeah, we
that's
can do a little
for
bit.
the-
Yeah. We can. Let's look at the next. The next one's what? This Saturday, right?
This Saturday we have Cannonier
Yeah, let's look at that,
taking
yeah.
on Imaev in Louisville, Kentucky, the KFC Yum Center.
Louisville.
Dominic Reyes is on that. Raul Rosas Jr.
Oh,
is on that.
Rosas.
Yeah, so he'll be fighting in the bantamweight division. Ricky Torisos, he's 13-3, 3 wins by knockout. Where does he fight out of? Heard the name Ricky before.
Houston.
From Houston. I don't know if that's where he's fighting out of currently. Yeah, Ricky, that'll be on the main card. Anyone else in
Bruno
here worth
Ferreira.
mentioning? Thiago Moises. Yeah, but this is just a fight night. This is just
And Austin
ESPN
Cannonier
Plus.
is the main guy.
Another fight night. This looks like an Apex, yeah. Little flyweight bout. Alex Perez, he's a good fighter. Lucas Almeida. Another flyweight bout. Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick's a fun fighter. Let's see if we can get to a pay-per-view. Here's another great. This might as well be. So this is coming up in a couple weeks. This is Saturday, June 22nd. It's in Abu Dhabi, so it's going to be early in the morning for you Pacific Coast time, like I am, or even a little early for you Central timers as well. Robert Whitaker versus Hamza Chimaev. A lot of stuff will be learned for the middleweight division. Sergey Pavlovich, Volkov, Johnny Walker,
Walker's.
Kevin
Gas.
Gastelum. This guy's crazy fighter too. We got a lot of Russians.
Yeah.
That kind of Middle Eastern crew is going to be there. That's a good fight. 303 McGregor Chandler.
That'll be a heck of a fight too. Good old Connor coming back, eh? We are gonna do previews of all the ones that we have the week before. So we're gonna have the Connor one, and then when's Diaz fighting? He's
Nick,
way down here.
Yeah, Nick is gonna be fighting, I believe, at UFC 304. No, it wouldn't be 304.
No, it's 305. It's with Sanhagen.
Oh, the fight night. Yeah, so this isn't even a
yeah, there he is.
This isn't even a pay-per-view. This is a fight night. It's going to be also in the United Emirates. Another great card, bantamweight. This has been announced as a number 1 contender fight. Sandhagen versus Umar, who's number 10. He's going up to fight Sandhagen. We were looking at the rankings just a second ago. This is whoever wins this will fight. Their next fight will be Sean O'Malley. Still yet to be seen if Sean ends up going up to that 45 belt. I could see that. This is a 5-rounder, which is very interesting. Nick Diaz, Vincent Luque. Marlon Vera, Figueiredo. This is another very good fight. I think that Figueiredo can really put a stamp in this division. Mackenzie Dern. And Tony Ferg fighting Michael Chiesa at welterweight. Very interesting fight.
Very interesting. So yeah, like I said earlier, we'll get into all the specifics. We'll do obviously we got the fight night segment with P4 every week, so we'll definitely get a breakdown of those coming up, get some hype going, especially for 303, and then of course 304 and 305 when those come up. So we're going to talk a little bit of MLB, just here and there. We're going to make this kind of quick because our main man that does that in K-Stelt is currently not here. There's just been a little bit of contract negotiations. He's trying to get off that 10-day. We keep giving him the 10-day. And I don't know if we want to sign you for more. P4, do you think K-Stell deserves more than that 10-day? Are we still up in the air on him? Or?
I mean, he can come back until this smarter dumb thing is over. I want to make sure I'm not last.
Yeah, 100%. Do not want to be last on Smart or Dumb, which will be coming up quickly after this MLB segment. I just wanted to talk, P4, you said you had some MLB thoughts. The big one for me currently is going to be the Royals. I'll take over a little bit of the Royals segment since K-Stel's not here to do it for us. Boys are playing really, really well. They have been in a little bit of a slump recently. It's been, the Rays gave them a good one. So they are currently, pull my stats up real quick.
36 and 25.
36 and 25. So really, really good for the Royals. They got they just beat the Padres 4-3 today. They are, hitting the ball extremely well. Their home run leader and their batting average is actually Salvador Perez. I remember at the very beginning of the year, lots of people were like, I don't know what Salvi still got for us. Obviously, he's playing really, really well. Bobby Witt Jr. is leading us for the RBIs. And it's just this whole team is really starting to click together, it looks like. So very exciting stuff out here in Kansas City. The bullpen's doing all right. The pitching staff, as long as we can stay healthy and consistent, I believe we could maybe shoot for a playoff spot. Maybe a wild card if we get really lucky, but the division's really tough. You got the Guardians, who are extremely good. The Twins just beat the Royals 2 out of 3 like last week. So it's going to be really difficult to see them make it all the way into this wild card spot. Mr. P4, how are your New York Mets currently doing?
Shitty. Whole team's falling apart. Jeff McNeil has a WRC plus of like 80. It's awful. It's horrific. No one can hit. When we hit, we can't pitch. You either get good run support or the bullpen. The Mets are leading the MLB in losses while winning going into the 7th inning.
Jeez.
By over 3 games. So we've had multiple situations where we can't close out the game. I think a lot of people are going to leave in this offseason. I think a lot of people are going to get traded at the deadline. I don't expect Pete to be back. I don't expect Sterling Marte to be back. I don't expect DJ Stewart to be back. I don't expect Harrison Bader to be back. I don't expect most of these guys to be back. Jeff McNeil probably not back. And we're going to go with these young guns. But I don't know. Well, Christian Scott, our one bright piece, our pitcher, our rookie pitcher. Let's see what his stats were. He had a Fangraphs WAR of .6 with an ERA of 3.90, a FIP of 3.51. He had a 22% K rate, a 5.4% walk rate. Started 5 games for the Mets.
It's pretty exciting.
We just sent him down. And the reasoning was we have to switch up something. And he was our one bright spot. He was this rookie pitcher, kind of a phenom. We sent down Brett Beatty as well, who was finally trying to kind of hit his own stride. Our third baseman prospect. Luis Angel Acuna is still in the minors. Ronnie Mauricio is still in the minors. Jet Williams is still in the minors. Blake Tidwell's still in the minors. All of our prospects are still in the minors, and we're sending other young guys down, and we still suck. So it doesn't even... It's rough. It's real rough in Met Town.
Yeah, especially paying all that money again for another year. We'll see. Hopefully you can turn it around here, man. Let's go quickly look around the league here. If we go look out at the American League East, the Yankees are currently winning at 42-19. They actually lead the American League in record this year. Obviously, they've got a juggernaut of a team over there. Obviously, in the Central, the Guardians are 3 games above the Royals, and then the Twins are closely behind them. So that'll be an interesting contest. Let's see. It is only just the start of June here, so we have no total. Somebody could have a meltdown. Probably the Royals. Hopefully not the Royals, but maybe. Main man from way out west, your hometown, the Seattle Mariners are currently winning the AL West. They are 4 games up on the Texas Rangers. Then if we go look at the National League, we got the number 1 team out there in the East in the Philadelphia Phillies, who are just such a fun team to watch. Bryce Harper,
they're good.
They're so fun to watch. Like, I mean, even if you don't really like watching baseball, like, they will make the game pretty fun to watch. So a high action team there. In the Central, you got the Brewers with a 7-game lead over the second place Cardinals. Brewers are really good. Hopefully they can keep this pace going. We'll have to wait and see. And then finally, way out west is the LA Dodgers. Obviously, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. We'll see what happens when it comes to October with that team. That's where they haven't been able to punch the ticket. I mean, they did, what was it, 2 years ago they won the World Series? 2 years ago, right? So, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, they're still got plenty of time to do things for this roster and all that kind of jazz. But we will do another bigger MLB update when, obviously, Mr. K-Stel gets back. But just because Mr. K-Stel and Mr. Howard are not here does not mean that they get to skip out. We are not skipping out on Smart or Dumb today. Here is the rules coming your way right now. If you just kindly look at the screen, here are the rules. So, one dude will host, the other ones will play. Okay, the host will ask the dudes 5 questions. Some are about sports, and some are not. For 4 weeks, points will be accumulated, and the loser must face the Wheel of Punishment. So, since Mr. P4 is the only one here, he's the only one that's going to be able to get points. Howard and K-Stel, you don't want to be on this punishment wheel. I've already seen one of the wheels is eating 3 spoonfuls of mayonnaise on stream.
Yeah, not gonna be me.
So the wheel is coming together. It's not gonna be fun.
Let's see some comments. What do you want to see on this?
Don't want to be a loser. Absolutely, we're always open for comments. Anybody got any great ideas for smart or dumb punishment? You are more than welcome. But Mr. P4, are you ready to play smart or dumb?
Always.
Alrighty. So I'm going to pull this trusty screen up that's got our scoreboard here. Right here. Here is our scoreboard, obviously. P4 is the only one playing. So everybody else gets 0 points. So obviously the scoreboard, real quick, is Mr. Howard is at 4. P4 is at 3 points. And K-Stelt is at 3 points as well. Alright. Your first question, P4, is who currently has the most stolen bases this year in baseball? Who currently has the most stolen bases in baseball this year? 30 seconds on the clock.
I'm going to talk it out loud. It can't be Ruiz. He got sent down for a little bit. Can't be Acuna because Acuna got hurt. Could be Trey Turner. I haven't heard a whole bunch about him so far this season. I heard he was kind of in a batting slump. Doesn't mean necessarily he couldn't get any stolen bases. Who else is fast? Maybe Gunnar Henderson or one of these kind of younger kids. Who's the kid in Arizona? Corbin Carroll? He doing good?
I don't know.
All right.
Get right down a name for me.
Gunnar Henderson.
P4, you are incorrect. The current stolen base leader is Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La
it was a young
Cruz
guy.
is the answer. Okay, question number 2. Who won the second Super Bowl? Who won the second Super Bowl?
Super Bowl II.
Correct. Who won Super Bowl II?
It was called AFC NFC Championship game at the time.
Should be a pretty easy one. Nice, getting some nice points for about 10 more seconds here. Alrighty, please show the answer. It is the Green Bay Packers. P4 has an answer and has 1 point added to him. He is now currently at 4.
I believe they beat the Chiefs.
They
Both of them, or just the first one?
just the first one.
What was the second one? Who'd they beat? The Colts?
Yeah. Quick research. I think it was the Colts, but let me do a quick
Maybe
research.
the Raiders?
Super Bowl II. The Raiders. You are correct. Yeah, Raiders were the ones they beat. All right. Question number 3. Who was the 4th president of the United States? Who was the 4th president of the United States?
I probably gotta think of guys
Is
who I
he
didn't
smart
have
or
pictures
is he
of.
dumb?
Yeah, I just gotta think of guys who there's not pictures of them. There's paintings of them. So I don't know. Oh, who? Andrew Jackson, maybe? He was probably pretty early. I'm gonna go with. I'm pretty sure Andrew Jackson was before, because I know it would have been prior to Top Hat. Would have been prior to Abe Lincoln. So I'm gonna go Andrew Jackson.
P4, you are incorrect. It is James Madison was the 4th president of the United States.
He was another founding father, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Okay, question number 4. Okay.
Hey, real quick on that same note, who was a dipshit? Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin is the smartest man ever from Philly, and he electrocuted himself by flying a fucking kite.
The more you know, honestly. That doesn't tell you anything, then I don't know what you want to do with that. Alright, question number 4.
Go Birds.
What is the king's name in the movie Madagascar? What was the king's name from the movie of Madagascar? 30 seconds on the clock.
I like to move it, move it. Getting artistic.
Alrighty, show the
King
answer.
Julian, PC.
It is King Julian. You are 100% correct. One more point. That puts you
Who the fuck is James Madison?
at the top of the leaderboard with 5 points. If you keep this up, you can get another advantage.
Wow.
Over.
Skip to the number 1 spot.
Just leapfrogging everybody over here. But your final question is, which movie is this quote from? I want to get chocolate wasted. What movie is this quote from? I want to get chocolate wasted. 30 seconds on the clock. Come on.
The first one or
Come
second
on,
one?
P4. I don't know. Is it the first one or the second one? Come on. You're the Adam Sandler. Come on. Hey.
Oh, it's definitely the first one.
Is it?
Grown Ups
Is
won.
it? Final answer?
Final answer is Grown Ups 1. I should have just said Grown Ups. Should have never brought
You
up
got it
the
correct.
second
It's
one.
Grown Ups 1. Congratulations, P4. You take a lead over the rest of the dudes. You are currently now, we'll look at these totals. Obviously, these two guys did not get, why is it not letting me? Here it is.
What did I get? Stolen bases and James Madison wrong?
Stolen
That's
bases and James Madison wrong. So we look at the totals. So right now, we've
At
got
least I'm consistent.
the main man from way out west who decided to show up to the podcast and be a great person for the dudes is currently in first place. Then we've got
I deserve it.
Tighten Up, Mr. Howard, who got 4 points, and then of course our 10-day contractor, Mr. K. Stout, at the bottom of the leaderboard, looking to face the wheel of punishment. This could be a killer for him. Well, P4, I think that's going to wrap up our show today. Just nice little 45-minute pod, Enjoyed seeing you, having your company around here. You got some final notes for the people out there?
No. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave your comments. Go Mets. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing, supporting the channel, supporting the podcast. We're going to be doing these lives every Sunday throughout the summer. We'll reconvene, see what's going on, maybe around football season. Our main man, Nick Howard, he's in the process of a move, so then we'll get some not-so-live videos out for you guys. But right now we're going to stick to the live stuff. Appreciate you for sticking around.
Yeah, this is great. Like, subscribe. Thanks again for tuning in, listening to two dudes rant about sports. So that'll be it